So you're thinking about visiting South Korea, huh? That's awesome! South Korea is a fascinating country with a mix of ancient traditions and ultra-modern life. But if you've never been, it's good to know that some things might feel pretty different from what you're used to. This can be exciting but also a bit confusing or even overwhelming. Don't worry though. I'm going to walk you through 10 important cultural shocks you might face before you go. This way, you'll be ready to enjoy your trip without any surprises getting in your way. Let's jump right in. 10. The language barrier can be real. One of the first things you'll notice is the language. Korean or Hangul looks and sounds nothing like English or most other languages. While younger people and those working in big cities often speak some English, you'll find that in smaller towns or traditional places, English isn't very common. Signs might be only in Korean, and menus may not have English translations. This can make ordering food, asking for directions, or buying things a bit tricky. But don't stress. Many Koreans are super friendly and willing to help if you try your best. Learning a few simple phrases like hello, thank you, and excuse me in Korean can go a long way. Also, using apps like Google Translate can be a lifesaver. Just keep in mind that communication might take a little more patience than usual. 9. The respect for hierarchy and age. South Korea places a big emphasis on respect, especially related to age and social status. You might notice people bowing when greeting, and it's not just a casual thing, it's a sign of respect. The older you are, the more respect you receive, and younger people are expected to show that respect clearly. In everyday life, this can affect how people talk to each other, how they address others, and even how they sit or eat together. For example, younger people often wait for elders to start eating first at meals. If you're invited to a Korean home or restaurant, being aware of these customs will help you avoid awkward moments. This respect for hierarchy might feel different from what you're used to, especially if you come from a culture where everyone is more equal or informal. But it's a beautiful part of Korean culture that highlights care and consideration. 8. The food might surprise you. Korean food is delicious, but can also be a shock to the system if you're not prepared. You'll find dishes with lots of strong flavors like garlic, chili, fermented sauces, and pickled vegetables. Kimchi, a spicy fermented cabbage side dish, is everywhere and often served with every meal. Some people love it, others find it too intense. You might also notice that many meals come with lots of side dishes called banchan, which are shared around the table. Eating with chopsticks is the norm, and slurping noodles or soup is perfectly acceptable, even encouraged. One thing to remember, some foods might be very different from what you're used to. For example, eating live octopus or blood sausage might be a new experience. Also, spicy food is common, so if you don't like heat, you might want to ask for milder versions. Trying Korean food is a big part of the experience, so go in with an open mind. But it's good to know that some flavors and ingredients might catch you off guard at first. 7. Personal space and physical contact. In South Korea, personal space and physical contact can feel quite different compared to other countries. People tend to keep more physical distance in public, and touching strangers is generally avoided. This includes hugs or even handshakes in many situations. When greeting someone, a polite bow is usually enough. If you do shake hands, it's often softer and sometimes done with both hands. Being too loud or overly expressive in public might draw unwanted attention. On public transportation like buses and subways, people try to keep quiet and avoid eye contact, which might feel a little strange if you come from a place where chatting or making friends on the train is common. Also, be careful about where and how you touch people. Even a casual pat on the head or shoulder can be seen as rude or intrusive. Observing how locals behave can help you get this right. 6. The importance of cleanliness and order. South Korea is known for being very clean and orderly. You might be surprised by how spotless streets, public places, and even bathrooms are compared to some other countries. People take pride in keeping their environment clean, and littering is strongly frowned upon. You'll also notice how organized everything feels, from public transportation to trash sorting. Yes, recycling is a big deal here, and many places have strict rules about separating garbage. Another thing is shoe etiquette. When you enter a home, or sometimes even certain restaurants and temples, you'll need to take off your shoes. This is a sign of respect and cleanliness. This sense of order and respect for public spaces might feel different if you're from a more relaxed or casual environment, but it's something to appreciate and follow. 5. The work culture and long hours. If you talk to locals or spend time around offices, you'll probably hear about the intense work culture in South Korea. Long working hours and strong dedication to the job are common. Sometimes people work overtime or attend company dinners late into the night. This can be shocking for visitors from countries where work-life balance is more emphasized. It's also why many people here are used to fast-paced environments and efficient service. Even if you're just visiting, Understanding this part of Korean culture helps explain why people act the way they do in professional settings or public places. 4. Public behavior and quietness. South Koreans tend to be more reserved in public. You might notice people speaking quietly on public transport or in shops, avoiding loud conversations or phone calls. Showing too much emotion in public, like yelling or arguing loudly, is generally seen as inappropriate. This quiet and respectful behavior extends to how people queue or wait their turn. Lines are usually very orderly, and pushing or cutting in line is a big no-no. For visitors, this means you'll want to keep your voice down and follow social rules carefully to blend in and avoid standing out in a negative way. 3. Technology is everywhere. South Korea is one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world. You'll find super fast internet almost everywhere, high-tech toilets, and many smart devices that make life easier. At the same time, this can feel a bit overwhelming. For example, many restaurants and cafes use digital menus or ordering systems, sometimes without much staff help. Apps and QR codes are common, and contactless payment is everywhere. If you're not used to this kind of tech, it might take some time to get used to ordering food or paying bills through your phone or machines. But it's also really convenient once you get the hang of it. 2. The group mentality. South Korea has a strong sense of community and group harmony. This means that people often think about what's best for the group rather than just the individual. This can show up in many ways, from how decisions are made to how people interact socially. For example, when eating or drinking with others, there are rules about sharing and not starting until everyone is ready. Also, people often avoid confrontation or disagreeing openly to keep peace. This group mindset might feel different if you're from a culture that values personal freedom or outspoken opinions more. But understanding it will help you avoid misunderstandings and appreciate the social rhythm. 1. The importance of face and reputation. At the very top of the list is the concept of face, which means the respect or reputation someone holds in society. In South Korea, saving face and avoiding embarrassment for yourself and others is very important. This means people might avoid saying no directly or disagreeing openly because it could cause someone to lose face. Compliments, politeness, and indirect communication are common ways to keep harmony. For visitors, it's good to be careful with criticism or jokes, especially about sensitive topics like food, customs, or history. Being polite and respectful goes a long way in making friends and having a smooth experience. So there you have it, 10 cultural shocks you might face when visiting South Korea. From the language to social behavior, food, and the high-tech world, it's a place full of surprises. But none of these should scare you away. Instead, think of them as part of the adventure that makes South Korea so special. If you prepare yourself with this knowledge, you'll find the experience way more enjoyable and less confusing. Plus, locals will appreciate your effort to understand their culture, making your trip even more meaningful. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends who might be planning a trip, and subscribe to the channel for more travel tips and cultural insights. Safe travels, and I hope you love South Korea as much as I do.